Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Swipe up 162. This is the show where I talk about current events, give my opinion on the news, things of that nature. Let's get into it, shall we? Sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's bad news. Let's start off with some good news. Dune Part 2 has been officially announced. It is a go. Legendary Pictures have confirmed it has given the go-ahead to start production on Dune Part 2. Dune Part 1 has made $223 million worldwide. So it's done well. It's good. It's good. It's still disturbing that only Part 2 has been confirmed. Denis Villeneuve has mentioned he wants this story to be told in 3 parts. The second part will be based on a different book featuring the same character, I think. But yeah, it feels like a trilogy. I mean, that's what movies do nowadays, is trilogies. There's not just 2 parts. What movie's just 2 parts anymore? There's probably a few stories out there that are just 2 parts, but like most are, I mean, this is like an epic movie. It has all of the trappings of this epic, sprawling tale. And the director says he's got, just green light, film them back to back. Because we're not going to get this until like 2025 or something. It doesn't say in this article when it's supposed to be scheduled to be released. Just because they start production on it doesn't mean it's going to take a while. So, I don't know. It's a weird strategy. I guess uncertain times with, pandemic, movie theaters, all of that. Studios probably hesitant to put, but it's like, what if you're going to make an epic piece of art, make an epic piece of art. And it's already being well received. You got to lock everything in. Because it doesn't take much. It's like Jenga. You take the wrong brick away and it just all comes tumbling down. You got to get that thing in the can while you can. But still happy for a part 2. It seemed inevitable, but still crazy that it had to be waited on. They had to see how much money it was going to make. It's just, it's weird. But good news. Good news. Let's move on to another movie studio, media company, giant mega corporation that just seems to be raising their prices so often since the pandemic started. It seems like Disney has raised their prices in every aspect on multiple occasions. The pay-per-view, ESPN, a Disney-owned company who is the broadcast partner for the UFC, raised the prices of pay-per-views for the UFC 2 separate times. Like, it was $50, then it went to $60, and now it's $70, or maybe it's up to $80. I don't know. Maybe they've raised it again. But 2 separate times during a global pandemic, Disney raised the pay-per-view price of UFCs, knowing full well you can't go to a sports bar, and watch it. So there's going to be a lot more individuals purchasing those pay-per-views than ever before. So why not? Why not take advantage of this opportunity to grab as much money as possible, which Disney does. They do that all the time. That's just their whole strategy. I'm going to put out a movie, and then I'm going to put out the deluxe version of that movie, and then I'm going to put out the super deluxe version of that movie, and then I'm going to remake that movie in live action, and then I'm going to remake everything. There's just everything's being remade at Disney. But this one is Disneyland. Oh, yeah, they don't pay their artists either. Disneyland, you have to sue them to hopefully settle out of court to get your money if you're an artist working for Disney. Disneyland, the resort, is raising most ticket prices, adding a new tier. So there's just news like a month ago how they restructured their like subscription plan or whatever, their like annual pass plan. Like they restructured the whole thing. It costs more in general, but apparently they're raising the price of that as well. So while the cheapest one-day single park ticket remains $104, Disney increased the cost of all other tiers by $5 to $10. It also expanded the demand-based system to include a sixth tier that will bring the top ticket cost to $164. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting that they're constantly raising their prices. It's disgusting that Disney owns everything. Like they own almost all movie franchises. Like they almost all media. I don't know. It's not surprising that they're raising their prices again. Because that's what Disney does. It's the happiest place on earth when you can afford to go there. You know, you can afford their premium pricing on everything. They do the same thing with their movie pricing when they release stuff. Like every opportunity they can to squeeze money out of their fans, out of their customers, they will do. They'll do it, and their fans will pay it and just love that. Just like they're brainwashed into like just being deathly devoted to everything Disney, whether it's Star Wars freaks, whether it's Marvel freaks, whether it's just Disney in general. It's a lot of behavior that's like it's like disturbing. Let's put it that way. It's disturbing behavior. But anyway, fuck Disney. If I haven't said that recently, fuck Disney. We'll never watch UFC again. We'll never subscribe to Disney Plus. Get out of here. Will not pay for their movies. Maybe some of the classics, which I think I already own the classics that I like. But yeah, fuck Disney. A little over 4 years ago, I started The Many Faces. It's an ongoing series of abstract ink portraits. Each piece is improvised. Each piece is released daily. Start collecting now. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF. That stands for The Many Faces. And save yourself 25% when you use coupon code RTS. That stands for The Ray Taylor Show, because that's what you're listening to, and I love you. So I want you to save 25% when you use that coupon code. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/TMF and use coupon code RTS to save 25% when you start collecting one of over 1,600 original ink paintings. By myself, I made them. Support me. I love you. Back to the show. Let's move on, shall we? The Jumpsuit, Squid Game, I'm doing an episode-by-episode recap every Tuesday. So far, I've done 2 of the, 9 episodes of Season 1. So if you're a fan of that show and want to listen to a recap show of that, definitely check that out. But Squid Game, the jumpsuits, loose design was chosen to mask each worker's gender and create a colony feel. The soldiers' masks were created to look like the face of an ant, which is interesting because it is true. They do the anonymity of being a Squid Game employee is an interesting look. I mean, instantaneously, I looked up at first watching of the show for costumes because it's gonna be that mask is cool. I mean, masks in general are cool. You got the Purge franchise is well known for their masks. You know, you got Scream, you got Halloween, and now you have Squid Game, which are just those blank, like almost fencing masks uh, are awesome. Are awesome. Almost ordered one. But it's like I'm literally, it's Halloween today as I'm recording all 7 episodes for next week. So obviously I'm not doing anything for Halloween except for editing and recording. But it's interesting how much detail is put into that show, which now watching it and reviewing it episode by episode really kind of stands out, those details. But it's interesting. Interesting stuff. Moving on, last but not least, good news. This is good news. Make you feel good. Keanu Reeves. It's weird. Some people don't like Keanu Reeves. I'm a huge fan. I don't think he's like next level actor. Like his acting ability is good. It's assuming he gets cast in the right stuff. He's amazing. John Wick, The Matrix, Bill and Ted's, sure. Home runs all over the place. He's great. I'm not saying he's Daniel Day-Lewis. He knows his lane and he hits it out of the park every time. I'm a fan. Some people are not. It's weird. But Keanu Reeves, well known for being a good guy. Keanu Reeves gifts stunt team with $10,000 Rolex watches to thank them for their work on John Wick 4. And a similar thing he did on The Matrix. Does this one have it? Yeah. Remember when The Matrix was a worldwide success? Keanu reportedly ended up giving away an estimated $75 million. Each member of these teams received $1 million per person, instantly making them all millionaires. But Keanu didn't stop at just the special effects and costume teams. He also gave the entire stunt team on the Matrix sequels Harley Davidson motorcycles. I'd rather people, quote unquote, I'd rather people didn't know that, Reeves said. It was a private transaction. It was something I could afford to do, a worthwhile thing to do. Beautiful. It's beautiful. Just recently, after wrapping the shooting of his upcoming movie, John Wick 4, Reeves gifted the film's stunt team with swanky Rolex watches as a gesture of thanks. That is awesome. Like, to be cast or to be working on a Keanu Reeves movie could potentially change your life. Imagine that. The Matrix was insane. They didn't know obviously he must have known, but like the world global phenomenon that the Matrix was, that's awesome. To imagine working on that, not only being a part of the crew that helped make one of the best action movies ever, one of the greatest sci-fi films ever, potentially, arguably, but also to be given $1 million from, which I would imagine some of his desire to keep it secret is for potential tax purposes. Because somebody gives you $1 million, you're gonna have to pay taxes on that. It is a weird thing, but who knows? Who knows how that shook out with everybody? But that's awesome. Awesome news for Keanu Reeves. You don't have to do that. You don't have to buy people fancy things, but it is nice to give, especially people you work with. It's important to make sure that they know you care. And giving them $10,000 Rolexes is a great way to do that. Or just $10,000. Or just anything. Most bosses don't do anything. Most movie stars don't do anything. They don't do that. This is not like standard practice. It is for Keanu Reeves, but not for most people. At least as far as we know. But yeah, that's it. Let's do some shout outs and get out of here, shall we? Nice short one today. Shout out to Movie Facts. Shout out to KTLA 5 News. Shout out /film. Shout out the Film Magic. And most importantly, shout out to you. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspired disorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!